Hello, I'm Jane Velez-Mitchell, and you are looking at Esther the Wonder Pig. Esther is coming to you from Ontario in our very special newscast. I am here in Manhattan with Foxy, and we're also talking to Steve, who is Esther's dad from Canada, as well as Donnie Moss from theirturn.net. So, Steve, I'm going to ask you to speak, but we're going to keep the video on Esther. Tell us how you found Esther and why Esther has a message for Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey, who has a bill on his desk that would ban pig gestation crates, where pigs, just like Esther, are kept in crates the size of their bodies, never able to turn around. They go mad. They become psychotic. It is torture, in my opinion. And tell us what Esther would like to say to Governor Christie.
Well, Esther came to us. She was supposed to be a mini pig. We were expecting a 70-pound little, cute pet pig like you see on TV, right? And she turned out to be a 650-pound breeding sow. So she's the exact type of pig that would be living in these gestation crates. And that's heartbreaking to us. I mean, we get to spend every day with her. We see her hanging out with our dogs, and I think you can kind of see her coming down the stairs, and living life just as part of our family. So to think of her in one of those cages for years is absolutely heartbreaking to us.
And here she is now going outside. I want to see this because it's extraordinary to me. There she is, outside in Canada. We are all watching this together. It's going to freeze up a little bit. But Donnie Moss, what does that say about pigs and the fact that billions, over the course of years, right now millions of pigs, maybe even billions, are kept in crates the size of their bodies, never able to turn around?
Actually, Jane, the crates are less than 7 feet long and 2 feet wide, and these sows can be 900 pounds. I want to read you a quick quote from Nicholas Kristof from the New York Times. He says, "These are tiny stalls that are barely bigger than the pigs, who don't even have enough room to turn around. They live out their adult lives without exercise or meaningful social interaction. It's a life sentence of solitary confinement and a coffin, punctuated by artificial insemination and birth." I think that says it all, Jane, and that's why Chris Christie must sign this bill to ban gestation crates.
Steve, you know that these pigs are sentient beings, that they don't want to stay in a crate, but here's what the pork industry argues. If you could look into the camera, that would be great. Look into the lens. Thank you. Pork industry argues gestation crates allow for individualized care and that keeping them separate prevents them from attacking each other. What would you say to that argument, that keeping these animals immobilized, unable to turn around, to move, oh, we're doing that for their benefit? I mean, how cynical can you get? How cynical?
I think it's crazy. I mean, Esther sleeps on a bed. She's got a twin mattress in our living room. That's where she spends the majority of her time. So, I mean, she sleeps on that bed with our dogs. We've got cats. We live in a 1,000-square-foot bungalow that Esther has free reign of. I mean, there's at no time as it appeared necessary to us to keep her caged up for the safety of our other animals. It just doesn't make sense to us. She seems to be very, very aware of where she is and what she's doing. Considering the size of her and the size of her environment that we live in. I mean, there's me and Derek, 2 dogs, 2 cats, and Esther, and we get along just fine in our little 1,000-square-foot house.
I have to say this. To the pork industry, and anybody from the pork industry, producers want to come on, we're happy to have them because I've got questions for them. Here's little Foxy, okay? If I kept little Foxy, who is a rescue from the streets of Fresno, California, in a crate the size of her body, and she could never turn around, I am absolutely sure I would be charged with animal cruelty. But if you do this to this creature, and we're going to try to get a shot of her back, and she's coming in and out, so there she is. And she is a higher IQ than a dog. Pigs have a higher IQ than a dog. You could do that, and and not be charged with a crime. Although it is being phased out in several states, including California, which passed Prop 2, which phases it out. And there she is in the backyard. Clearly, all creatures are happy or moving. Clearly, all creatures are happy or moving. There is no excuse for keeping animals in a crate the size of their bodies, never able to turn around. What would you say to Governor Christie? Now, there's been a lot of talk, Donnie, that Governor Christie is thinking about running for president and that he has to get past Iowa, which, of course, is one of the key early hurdles. What would you say to Governor Christie of New Jersey?
I say two things. First of all, he could go into a factory farm himself if he could find his way in. You know, they don't let people in, and see what it looks like when pigs are chewing on the bars of their cages and bleeding from the mouth because they're going insane. But if that doesn't move him, then maybe this will. This issue is now in the public domain. People are aware of what gestation crates look like, thanks to the undercover investigations that have been conducted by all of these animal advocacy organizations. And if he doesn't care about the pigs themselves, then he should ban gestation crates out of political expedience, because this will compromise his bid for president if he doesn't ban gestation crates.
And this is video of, and this is live video that we're recording right now of Esther the pig, the Wonder Pig, running around the backyard having a good time. And you could see clear that she enjoys moving about just as any living creature would. The idea that someone would suggest that they are keeping these animals immobilized for their own benefit boggles my mind. There's a phrase for that. It's called doublespeak. And it means that you say the opposite of what's true. I think George Orwell figured that out a long time ago. But I want to get back to the pork producers. They say, quote, "Our nation's pork producers take great pride in their longstanding commitment to the highest standards of humane care for animals. They are good people with good values. They care deeply for the animals they raise and make their health and well-being a top priority." How can somebody say that and keep an animal trapped in essentially a coffin while it's alive, while it goes psychotic from lack of movement, while it often bleeds, while this animal bleeds, and I don't like to say it, he or she, and in this case it would be she, female pigs, sows, bleed through the mouth often because they're chomping on those bars, they go mad. Now, I didn't make this up. There are people who have studied animals, who are veterinarians, who have said that this is abominable. What would you say, Steve, as the parent of this fabulous pig, Esther the Wonder Pig, to Governor Christie, to speak from the heart to him?
It's absolutely heartbreaking to me to think of Esther in that situation. I mean, we've had a chance to get to know an animal that most people never will. I mean, we were guilty 2 years ago. We never gave a second thought, you know, to pulling into the drive-thru at McDonald's, and a burger wasn't a burger without extra bacon. You know, that never even crossed our minds until we got to know Esther. Until then, it was, you know, farm animals were just a different class of animal altogether. We didn't give them a second thought, but at the same time, anytime one of those trucks drove past us on the highway, we had to look the other way. All of a sudden, we found ourselves face to face with Esther. Getting to see the personality and the character in these animals, and we just couldn't possibly detach ourselves from it anymore. We don't see her any different than, you know, anybody else would see a dog or a cat, because we got to know her. She really opened our eyes. You've got to give some consideration to who these animals are. There's a lot more to them than just a product or a barcode, which is what they seem to have been reduced to by most people at this point. There's a lot more to them than that, and the thought of them in those cages is absolutely gut-wrenching, just gut-wrenching.
I can't sleep at night thinking about it. I have devoted my life to trying to end this. I will never stop. It has to end. The litmus test of a society is how it treats its most helpless, its least powerful, its most voiceless. One day we will look back at this time, and it will be like looking back at some of the barbarism of the past that we cannot comprehend. And we'll say, how were they able to do this? I firmly believe that. Final thought, Donnie Moss.
I just want to take my my hat off to Steve and Derek, because in the past 2 years they have done more to educate the world about the plight of farm animals than perhaps anybody else. They have hundreds of thousands of followers. I have friends here in New York City who go to their Facebook every day to see what is going on with Esther. I feel like I'm on a Google Hangout right now with celebrities, and Esther. Esther is an ambassador to all farm animals, and I'm just eternally grateful to Steve and Derek for dedicating their lives now to educating the world through Esther to the plight of farm animals.
What you're seeing here is sort of the classic image of what we think farm animal experience. Oh, a pig sort of routing through the dirt and enjoying movement. This is not a farm. This is Derek and Steve's home that they share with Esther the Wonder Pig and some other people.
They're opening a sanctuary, Jane. You have to ask them about their sanctuary. They're opening next week, I think.
Okay, Steve, tell us about your sanctuary. Where and how can we get involved?
Absolutely, yeah. The sanctuary is unbelievable. We've purchased a 50-acre farm just outside of Toronto. We're just west of Toronto by about 40 minutes. And we're going to rescue all kinds of abandoned and abused farm animals and let people to get, or allow people to get close to them. You know, so again, you can meet and experience what these animals are all about. See a different side of these animals, because again, 2 years ago, Derek and I, we weren't vegan. We never gave this a second thought. It's all about, you know, changing the way you think about things and getting to meet these animals. I think that's the key thing for us, and that's where we've really connected with people, is just by allowing them to get to know us and to get to know her. And that's really what opens people's eyes, and I think that can be more effective than any other form of activism, is just, you know, positivity and laughter and you know, happiness goes a really long way, and that's what our sanctuary is all about. So you can find us on Facebook. We've got a sanctuary page called Happily Ever Esther Farm Sanctuary, and you can link through it to estherthewonderpig.com. You can find it on our website as well.
I want to thank you. Listen, Americans are decent people. They're learning about these things, and they're saying, no, we don't want this. And I'll speak for Canadians as well, because I've interviewed many, many Canadians. Decent people. You are essentially decent, but this is morally wrong. I'm going to say it. This, in my opinion, every molecule in my body says keeping an animal in a crate the size of its body, never able to turn around. When you can see that Esther the Wonder Pig loves moving around, loves, you know, these animals they never feel grass, they never touch, they never see the sunlight. They're kept in these barren warehouses. It's inhuman and inhumane.
Yeah.
Governor Christie, first of all, God bless you, Steve and Derek. God bless you, our ambassador, Esther the Wonder Pig. Please, Governor Christie of New Jersey, please search your heart. Let your conscience be your guide. Americans really want to do the right thing by these animals. They love their animals. Please ban pig gestation crates in New Jersey. And we're going to get this out. We're going to ban them coast to coast. Thank you all. Signing out for now. Bye. Bye, Esther.
Bye-bye.
I can't say goodbye. I got to watch her a little bit longer. Come on, Esther. What are you doing? What are you looking for? Look at her. Aww.
She's looking for corn. That's what she's after. Hey, we throw corn for her.
Let me ask you one last thing. How would you describe her emotional makeup? In other words, there are people who really don't understand that these pigs feel loneliness, they feel fear, terror, they feel joy.
100%. I mean, again, she's about 650 pounds, just over 650 pounds. And, you know, it wasn't that long ago, maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago, something scared her in the middle of the night. The cats were up and about, I guess, doing something. They knocked something over. It must have scared Esther, because she came storming down the hallway into our bedroom, climbed up onto our king-size bed, and immediately laid down with us. So, you know, she came to us for comfort. Or, you know, anytime she's unsettled, if she's having a weird day, we're ready for her to settle down and lay down. We just have to go and lay on her mattress. She's got a twin mattress that sits on the floor in our living room. and we'll just go and lay on her mattress, and she'll come walking over and slide up beside you, and she'll lay right down beside you on that mattress, and just wants to be cuddled. I mean, it's unbelievable when you think of an animal so big, and she wants nothing more than to lay down with your arm around her.
Child.
It's unbelievable. This is what changed us so much, is because we never even imagined that out of a pig. I mean, like I said, we've got dogs and cats. I've never seen something like we've seen out of Esther, and just this awareness of what's going on, and there's something in her eyes. I mean, you've really got to meet her and to look into her eyes. It's almost human. It's really hard to explain unless you've met one. She's the most incredible animal I've ever had the pleasure of knowing.
Well, I want to thank you, and we're going to make you and Esther regulars on our all-platform media outlets to inform the world about animals. This is the next big social justice movement, and we are there on the front lines, right along with you. Steve, Derek, Esther, Donnie Moss of theirturn.net. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Foxy.